All right, good morning, everyone. Let's stand and have a prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for yet another beautiful spring day. We thank you for a time to gather together as Commissioners Court and work on county business. We ask your blessing upon this agenda, each item on here, that we would make decisions that are in the best interest of the citizens of this community. Thank you for those that are here in attendance. Thank you for our firefighters, our first responders that continue to support us in this important decision that we have today. We just thank you for a successful event here on our downtown square this weekend, that everyone behaved, and it was successful for all the vendors and for all the participants. We thank you for those at the city and at the chamber that gave of their time and effort over the last few weeks to make this a successful event. We just pray for our first responders in this community. Lord, bless them and watch over them, protect them at all times, equip them to do the job when they're called upon to do it. We pray also for the protection of our servicemen and women wherever they may be. Once again, we turn this agenda now over to you and ask your total blessing in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, for the record, today is May 8, 2017. It's just after 9 o'clock. This is our first meeting of the Commissioners Court for the month of May. We will begin with item 1, public comment time, request for information on non-agenda items in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. Anyone have any comments at this time? I will move on to item number 2, consider possibly approved minutes from our last meeting, April 24th. That was our second meeting of the month of April, special meeting, we call it.
Make a motion we approve the minutes.
Motion is made by Commissioner Parker for approval on those minutes. Second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3 is our continuing efforts to get a fire protection contract worked out with the city of Mount Pleasant. And I won't go over and rehash all the history there, but I did attend the City Council meeting last Tuesday night and listened to the discussion there, and listened as the council did approve a close variant of what we had approved with a 3-2 vote at our last meeting on the 24th. And I would like to go over that just so you know what we are considering today. And the question will be, do you want to approve this in its current form, or do you have a better idea that you would like to propose to the court that we should consider? But let me run down this. This is a third amendment to our fire protection agreement that was entered into many years ago. This is between the city and the county. This third amendment will void and replace in its entirety the second amendment that was made back in November of 2015. That is the one where we added to the county budget 1/2 of the cost of 3 additional firefighters back November 3rd of 2015. And this so we're going to replace that, and we're just going to readjust the base rate of this contract is what is proposed here. And this agreement is hereby amended as follows. In the payments section, we are going to delete that section in its entirety and replace it with the following. In consideration for the equipment and services provided as identified and set forth herein, the county will pay the city the amounts as set forth. The county, as the paying party, shall make payments from its current revenues to the city. The base rate as of June 1 of this year, as of June 1, goes to $668,916. That is the addition of $180,000 even to our current rate right now, which is just shy of $500,000. About 88,916. So we increased that by 180,000 as of June 1 this year, a month from now. And then when we get into the new budget year, October 1 of 2017, another $180,000 is added to this base amount, bringing it to $848,916. Plus, we will continue to have an annual adder, which is basically a consumer price index or cost of inflation adjustment. Payments shall be made in 12 equal monthly installments each fiscal year on or before the 15th day of each month after execution of this agreement. Beginning October 1 and each October 1st thereafter, the base rate shall be subject to an increase, the amount of which shall be calculated by adding to the base rate for the preceding fiscal year an annual adder calculated in accordance with the following formula. And that annual adder would be the consumer price index times the base rate for the preceding fiscal year. Previously, we were only using 75% of that CPI, or consumer price index adjustment. This proposes that go to a full 100% of whatever that base rate is, rather than just 75% of it. I'm not sure that I understand what the logic was in using only a percentage of that base rate. It seems to me like you would always be getting further and further behind. But this CPI shall be based on the index entitled Dallas-Fort Worth from the U.S. Department of Labor, Bureau of Labor Statistics. I did ask Mr. Ahrens if he would consider not applying that adjustment as of October 1 this year, because we have two incremental $180,000 add-ons, and so to adjust that beginning October 1 I felt like was a little bit quick. So he has provided me with a letter saying that they will apply this coming October 1, 2017, that adjustment will only apply to our current existing $488,000. All right, Section 9, provisions relating to the city, is hereby amended as follows. Respond to all structure fires within Titus County, providing a minimum of 2 trucks and 4 firefighters, except for the City of Winfield, City of Talco, and the Talco Fire District. And then finally, Section 10, provisions relating to the county, is hereby amended as follows. Delete number 4 in its entirety and replace with the following. Nortex, Cookville, 5-Star, Tri-Lakes, and Sugar Hill Fire Districts shall be responsible for grass and vehicle fires within their respective districts. The Talco Fire Department shall be responsible for all emergency incidents in their district. So those are the main pieces of this. To run down them again, $180,000 will be added virtually immediately. Another $180,000 added first day of the new budget year. Adjust the base rate consumer price index calculation to the full CPI adjustment each year. And then from the city's side, they will increase the current wording of the contract from 2 trucks and 2 firefighters to 2 trucks and 4 firefighters. All right, so I provided you guys with some material to read, and perhaps you've had a chance to dwell on this. If you have a better idea than this, let's hear it. Maybe you can sway the others here. But nonetheless, this is what is on the table here, and this has been approved by the City Council at last week's meeting.
I don't understand paragraph 7. What is paragraph 7? Pay for 1/2 the cost of annual salary, retirement, medical benefits, employment-related taxes, work comp, rated bunker gear, and so forth. Is that an addition? Add that paragraph? That's not included in the top?
Tell me what you're reading. I'm not sure what you're reading.
The last page where the signatures are, paragraph 7. Add paragraph 7, it says.
Okay, that's the previous amendment to the contract. What's that dated? Is there not a date on that document?
Oh, yeah, dated the 3rd day of November. Okay.
Of what year?
Yeah, 15.
15. That's where we made the adjustment to add
That's better.
the county paying for half and the city paid for half of the addition of 3 firefighters that we did a year and a half ago. And so that verbiage goes away and it's simplified with this new document.
I got you.
While the commissioners are looking over their paperwork, if there's anybody in the audience that wants to make any comments, be glad to hear from you. Commissioner Fields, did you say something?
Well, I was just going to say, what we're getting into, and it's getting stricter, it's getting harder, but now you have to have 4 certified people to go in that house. And that's not something we used to had to be 4. I think it was you had to have a backup if somebody went in there and stuff. But to me, that house can be replaced. What I'm looking at is lives that's on the line here. And I think we need to be able to attack a house and make a rescue if it's deemed necessary. And those people have the training. We went from 2 now to 4. And, you know, they cannot go to a house structure fire and somebody's in there and there's 2 people that's certified. Now, I do know our volunteer fire department's got quite a few people. Well, I know at Tri Lake we have 6 or 7 people that's qualified. What I'm saying is you don't have 4 on the scene that can attack a house fire. And here's the main thing about that. You need 4 people for the same department. You need people that know each other when you're going in there and you know this is going to be done and that's going to be done. You know, I don't think we have a choice about it. I think we need to do this because it's the right thing to do. And everybody I talk to, they want fire protection. Made it very clear. So, you know, I don't have any problem with this. I think we need to continue because we got 3 years and 4 or 5 months left to go on this original contract. I think we need to continue to look at it and work with the city. And I don't want to wait for the last minute to come up and try to do something. So, but anyway, I can make this would meet our needs for the next 2 years.
Well, you bring up a good point there. This does modify a contract that has only about 3 years remaining on it. This does not talk about anything after that point, so we will be back either ratifying and renewing this contract, or if things change dramatically, we can always renegotiate. Either side can renegotiate 3 years from now when this contract is over with. Yes, ma'am. Would you come up to the mic?
I'm just late and I'm not.
It's okay. Come on up.
I didn't quite understand when you're talking about structure fire, excluding Winfield and Talco. I just needed clarification on that. Did I hear that wrong?
No, that's really been the way that it has been, just due to we have a different arrangement with the city of Talco because of we pay them in a different way because of the service that they provide for that community. There's no change to the wording on this related to that. I mean that's the way the contract has read for many years.
In Winfield?
And that's the city of Talco and the city of Winfield, plus we have a contractor, they cover everything north of White Oak, is that correct, or so? But mutual aid, they're coming anyway. I know we go to Franklin County, Morris County, if we just have that mutual aid agreement to be there to kind of help back each other up.
Chief McRae, would you clarify further does the four fighters? We've talked about this 5th what do you call it, a commander, or what's the proper terminology?
Shift commander.
Shift commander. Is that somebody that's always going to be there in addition to the 4 typically?
Correct.
Okay. And so they have the ability to function in a variety of different positions should the need arise.
Correct.
Everything else is staying the same in the old original contract as far as effective date and termination, default, and all that. Am I correct? Okay.
Make that motion.
We do have a motion, but I don't want to slow down any more thought process here. And if anybody has something that they would like to suggest or clarify or add to or delete from, if there's a better idea that you guys have, I really want to hear from you, because I don't have all the answers. I personally like this. I think that it's fair. It's a good bit less money than we were talking about over the last couple of months, and granted, it may be a little less guarantee in the way of manpower, but I think that it is a very good compromise, and I feel like the city is being very fair with us.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I've got a second made by Commissioner Parker. Any discussion on this before I call for a vote? Okay, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. All right, we've got a 2-2 vote here, fellas. And I'm not sure I want to break this tie. So is there anything that I've had an opportunity to visit with Commissioner Riddle, and I understand that he feels like it should be done for a little bit less money. Commissioner Applewhite, is there anything that you would like to share with us that might make me sway me to your side? In other words, what don't you like about this?
Well, like I said, it's going to be quite, from June to October, we're going to put a lot of, it's $180,000 each time.
Two times. And in other words, it's an increase of $360,000. It just spreads it out a little for us. It raises the $500,000 up to about $850,000.
Basically, what you're doing there, you're adding 6 firefighters.
No, well, we're not. What we're doing is we are helping increase the total numbers of full-time firefighters that are employed by the city. And they're taking care of payroll and training and workers' compensation.
Equipment.
They're just giving us a contract price, but yes, in effect, that is what we are doing, is increasing the manpower available to the city that is in turn available to us, and of course to the city as well. And it enables the city to feel more comfortable by leaving adequate staffing at their fire departments when they are out servicing the county when we need them.
May I speak?
Certainly.
Commissioner Riddle, I understand your position and I respect it. And I guess I'm trying to sway you with this, Mr. Applewhite. we keep focusing on structure fires, and I understand that's what we typically think of. What I'm worried about is if we don't do something, we're going to start fulfilling our contractual agreement. And like I said, it's not only hurting the community, it's going to be hurting us. I don't even want you to think about structure fires right now. Think about MVAs, motor vehicle accidents, wrecks. When we go to a structure fire, typically most people are already out, true. Property can be built. When we're responding to MVAs, what's the chances of someone actually being hurt, trapped, fuel leaks? We responded in the county, and I have my numbers. So I'm kind of top of my head here. Statistically, last year we responded to an MVA every 3 days in the county, not the city, the county. And of those, every 3 days, someone was injured. Every 15 days, we was extricating someone out of that same vehicle in the county. If we go back to our contractual agreement with only 2 people, there is no way we can possibly do that job. No way whatsoever. County departments do have rescue tools, Talco, and food. Their departments do have rescue tools. Once again, are they going to be, I'm not trying to degrade them when I say, are they going to be properly trained in the Philippines? The hybrid vehicles, do they go to this intensive training? If we do something wrong with these vehicles, for instance, it's potentially life-threatening, not to the person that's cut them out, but also to the patient. I want you to also think about this. Structure fire, we can let a house fire now. We go on MVA, this is what I'm concerned about. Is patient safety and our safety. In my honest opinion, I have no statistical backing on this, but I believe that MVA is the most dangerous call we run. It's the most often. It's on a highway typically, fast speed, and someone's always injured, not always, typically injured. While you're making that decision, please think about not only structure fire, but MVAs, because in my opinion, that's the most dangerous thing to do.
Along that same line, what's the ratio of when you're called out for county needs, a vehicle accident versus a fire-related incident? You've got a pretty good feel for that. Are they about equal? Is it more motor vehicles?
Oh, actually, structure fires we respond to, we had about 25 in the county last year. So once every 2 weeks, every week and a half, we had a structure fire, where the MBA every 3 days.
Well, you bring important information there. That is something that I don't think about much, but I do realize that it's going on. But as it relates to this decision, thank you for that reminder. Okay, so again, Commissioner Riddle, Commissioner Applewhite, is there something else that I'm not seeing here that I should consider? Or do you have a proposal that you would like to make that this court should consider?
You know, it's a pretty common thing that we all complain about the size of the government in Washington. We all complain about the size of the government in Austin. And then here we are, we want to increase the money to the county all of a sudden by 73% increase. We ask the taxpayers, give us some more money. And you think it's a fair contract. I don't think it's a fair contract. And I don't think it's our job to sit up here in this commissioner's court and increase the size of the government of Titus County, and that's what we're doing. Not only this time, but often we do it, too often, in my opinion. And I think most of the citizens think that government is too big. I do, and that's it. And so I don't know what the percentage of increase. You should increase your spending on anything, but 73% is absolutely too much, in my opinion. And we could always use more help. I mean, teachers would want more teachers. I mean, that's human nature. I want a better house. I want a bigger car. My kids want a bigger car. I want a better car. That's just human nature. But if we're spending somebody else's money, it's easy for us to capitulate and just let it happen. But if it was our money, we might do it a little different.
You probably wouldn't do it different to save a life. That's what the first responders, the fire department, all here for, is to save a life. Craig said what happens. Basically, when you get to a car wreck and people out there bleeding to death, you don't have people there to help them, then we're all in trouble. So that's where we're at. You know, new cars, whatever, you can replace them. The county needs to step up and help the first responders, because those are the people that are helping the people in the county and the city.
Well, again, as I see it, and I understand loud and clear what you're saying, so would you say in order to not have a 70% increase, would you support leaving the contract as it is? That'd be option one. Or option two, would you support asking for this same kind of guarantee from the city, but asking them to do it for less money? I mean, you've got to make a choice in here somewhere. Either I'm going to pay this price to get this kind of a guarantee, I'm not going to pay this price and I don't need that guarantee, or I want that guarantee, I just don't want to pay for it. It's got to be one of those three options. I don't know of another option. So help me to understand where you are. Do you think we can do with less guaranteed support from the city?
I made a motion last meeting for the $180,000 to furnish the three men, and it was voted down.
To furnish what three men? Be specific.
The 180, not the 180 for next year.
Yeah, the 180, and you would ask the city to reword the contract to guarantee you what?
Well, if they
3 instead of 4?
The chief said he could do that. He could do it with 3. 3? You say 3 this year and 3 next? 180 is
Well,
3.
this contract guarantees that the city will provide the county a minimum of 2 trucks and 4 firefighters. That is an increase from 2 firefighters in the current contract. So am I hearing you say you would ask for a guaranteed 3 firefighters and willing to pay $180,000? So that's less money and less guarantee, and is that what you support?
Wait a minute, no. He said if he had 3 more firefighters, he could send 4 to the fire.
Okay.
Last time.
So you would like him to send a guaranteed 4 firefighters for $180,000 increase only?
Yes.
Okay.
And let me say this. We don't have an emergency. We haven't had any emergencies or any bad incidents. And I feel very strongly that the reason that the county and the city hasn't had them is because of the management. Most departments, companies, bad management gets it. And so the management of this fire department has been left up entirely to Chief McRae. And I want to make it clear, I think he's done an excellent job of managing it, this company, this county, and I think he would do all he could, send all he could to save anybody, anytime. If it's 4 men, 3 men, and I think he does it now. He said he did it. I believe him. He sends more than 2 men now when he can. He does it all the time. And I don't think he's going to change as an individual, as a leader or a manager. He's done a great job managing this county. So I'd like that to be made part of my record. I'm not opposed to it. We could always use some more. All of us could.
Okay. Well, that is one way to look at it, to trust and believe that the city will continue to, out of the goodness of their heart, provide us with plenty of support and help. But I'm not sure that that's fair to the city, and I'm not sure that that's fair to our volunteer firefighters for us to just assume that when contractually they're not obligated, I don't think that that is working in the spirit of cooperation with the city. I understand what you're saying, but that tells me that your solution is, let's just hope that they'll continue to provide us exactly what we need when we need it, but I don't want to pay any extra. I'd like to hear your side, too.
Like I said, we do have to have the help. I know we need the help and everything, and it's just, I don't know how much it's going to affect the people, how much is it going to cost them. It'll cost them a lot, but when it comes to life, money's no object. It's just, I think it's a big jump up from 306,000 in less than 4 months. I don't know how many statistics were on the how many times they make it to the county, and I know what the guys do when they're in the county. They need the help, but mine just in the caught between the money and it's just a lot of tax dollars.
No argument there. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
But then you get in there, when you have life, money doesn't amount to nothing.
So would you propose that we leave the contract the same and just ride it out for the next 3 years?
There's no way, possibly that we could,
Well, there's a way. I mean, we could do that. But I think we know what the potential problems are with that. The city has stated that they now are to the point where they don't feel comfortable leaving their departments unmanned just so they can send adequate manpower to the county, and therefore they've got to hold on to more of their men in their departments, which means that the odds are we're not going to get as much manpower provided at county incidents. So that can be an option. But you've heard you've heard from your chiefs of the volunteer departments, you've heard from the consultant, you've heard from Chief McRae. That's not good. You know, we're struggling with volunteer numbers, and to not give these guys a support guarantee that is quantifiable in numbers leaves them nervous, to say the least. So if that would not be your option, what option would you consider? What would you vote for?
it's just a hard decision.
You're right. It's one of those tougher ones that we make.
Brian, I'd like to say myself that my concern is like Craig's. I've been doing this or been on the fire department now since it was established. I don't like tax increases. I pay taxes just like everybody else does here, and I don't like them either. But there's some things that you can't put a price on, and that a human life is one of those, I think. This is something that I think that we've got to do in order to keep the protection out there. Not only if we don't do this, not only is it going to increase taxes, it's going to also increase people's insurance. The insurance companies, if it drops back to where we're losing structures and we're losing lives because of motor vehicle accidents, then insurance companies the insurance rates are going to skyrocket. And I think that's something else that we've got to look at. That's just my feelings on it.
All right, I'm going to cast a no vote, so we've got 3 against and 2 for, and if there's anybody else that wants to put a proposal out, I'm ready to listen. But I think that this court needs to do a better job of supporting this than a 2-2 vote. So if there's anybody else that wants to make a proposal, this is your opportunity, or I'll go on to the next agenda item, or we'll just leave the contract as it is.
I just want to say my life is working.
Guys, I'm hoping to get some action. I didn't want you to leave. I'm hoping that I'm going to get something else on the table here.
I'm like, anyway, my life's
I'm not sure how much more we can say to sway anybody.
I agree.
You've heard the opposition, you've heard the pros and the cons. I don't know what else we can do to help change this. Like Michelle said, though, we keep talking about lives. Put yourself in that situation. I'm here fighting for us in the county. I'm not thinking about money. I understand what y'all are going to say. It's not your money. I understand. I'm fighting for, if we go to this contractual agreement and you send us 2 people, just back to NBA. NBA, typically we send more personnel and more trucks than any other call. If we're sending 2 people and 2 trucks, we're not going to do an effective job. People will lose their lives. And it's going to be detrimental, not only to us, but the community that you're sitting here trying to protect. If there's anything that we can do, tell us. But I'm fighting for this 2 people, 2 truck response. There's no way we can effectively do our job. No way whatsoever. The Cookville and Talco, we was talking about the rescue tools. And I just told you that we send typically 3 trucks, and we was sending up to 6 at a time until we got burned. We started having calls in the city and we can't do it. But we have to send a rescue truck, which carries all our specialized equipment. The Talco and Cookville, they do have rescue tools. They have the cutters, they have the spreaders, but they don't have the stabilizers, the crib, and the airbags, the things that we typically have to use on a lengthy extrication, which we do quite regularly. I'm asking you to please put yourself in that person's car seat, put your family in that person's car seat, and think about this when you vote on it. This is absolutely important on your decision. It could be detrimental to someone that you absolutely love. Thank you.
Well, I do think Commissioner Riddle has made it clear. He wants the manpower. He wants the manpower on the scene. He just would like to see it done at a cheaper price if we can get that done. Commissioner Applewhite, I'm not sure.
Will this add to the 3 years before we got left, or is it going to just the next 2 years? This contract.
This contract is over in 2020, so you've got 20. You've got a little over 3 years remaining on the contract, at which time, we have been renewing 10-year contracts, but there's nothing set in stone that you have to renew this contract for 10 years. So you're only looking at a 3.5-year commitment on this.
So this one would make, this year would go along with 3.5 years left?
That's correct. But now, looking forward to 2020, is there any reason to expect that fire protection is no longer a big concern and we can look forward to a reduced contract amount? I'm sure not going to lead you astray to think that that's going to be the case. I'm certainly hoping in 3.5 years that there is as much or more demand for this level of protection because of growth and expansion and good things happening in this community. Not because I'm hoping there's going to be more wrecks and fires, but just because of the natural growth within the city and within the county. But you are talking about an adjustment that will carry through November of 2020 with these two adjustments. And all I'm trying to get is a little more, consistency from this court or an alternative suggestion.
Whole thing, and then you've got to look at the long-term picture, you got to look at the big picture, and you got to look at the rules and regulations that are set up by the state, where now you have to have 4 certified people there before you can make a house go into that house. You got 2 can go in and 2 can stay out just in case they get fined. But you need to sit there and look at the cost of starting a fire department. Okay? To start a fire department, the least, and that's you're having 4 on there during the day, then your evening, your night shifts, and depending on your, that's a minimum of 10 people to have to go to fires and stuff. The 10th person would be the chief. You can do the same thing that we're doing right now. We can start our own fire department, put it inside, it's a central barn. When we get calls, we go.
I don't know.
You're going to have to do all the equipment. You're going to have to do everything. You sit there and you figure it. And I'm just roughly saying what I figured to do that, where we've got our fire department set up in this county, and we run it just like we're doing now, except the city takes care of the city and the county takes care of the county. I'm looking at just my rough estimates, anywhere from $1.1 million to $1.2 million to do that, and us do everything else. To have the protection you have to have 4 certified people before you can attack that house. It's not even counting the car wrecks that you have at night and day and stuff like that. Let me tell you something. When the volunteer fire departments, if you don't have a volunteer fire department or fire department within 5 miles of a fire station, then your rates are going to go up dramatically. You have no idea, or they won't even insure you. If you got a $100,000, $150,000 home out there and you can't get insurance on it, that makes it pretty tough for the people out there living in the rural communities. So, you look at the overall picture, what you're trying to accomplish here. You want the best fire protection you can get for the least amount of money you can have, but there's certain things you're going to have to pay for. And I've talked to people about this, and they don't have a problem paying $35, $50 more in taxes. The ones I talked to, they said, "Is it worth that?" Yeah, it's worth that. Because if you don't have protection, you're going to pay a whole lot more than that. Now, I'd like to keep everything as low as we can, but in reality, when they keep adding on to us and adding on the training you have to have and the things you have to do to attack a structure fire or a bad car wreck or things like that, the only thing I can say is, what is your family member's life worth to you? What would you give for their life? Hope nothing ever happens, but we walk out that door, we don't know if we're going to walk back in or not. But I think the proposal we have now does meet that need, and we do have 4 firefighters or paramedics, whatever we need out there in a car wreck or a house fire or something like this, the minimum. We're not talking about more. That's the minimum we've got to have there to attack a house fire if somebody's in there.
Well, I don't think there's anybody on the court that is in favor of starting a county fire department. I haven't heard that yet.
We're not
So,
there yet.
Judy, I'm going to recognize you. I'm going to step back and make sure my recorder is running accordingly.
Clarification I'm wanting is the contract we're amending, when was it made?
2010.
In
6 years, 6.5
Yeah,
years.
2010.
2010?
Something like that.
It was for 10 years.
Yeah.
And since 2010, we amended what we were paying by how much?
90,000
90,000.
in 2015.
Okay. So we went up 90,000.
Plus the cost of living increase over each of those years. So it started off at around 370 10 years or 7 years ago, and it's bumped up by CPI. Then we took the $90,000 increase.
And so then the requirements that more people be sent for structure fires was added when?
We haven't added it yet.
But I thought that was added by the state.
That's still 10 years ago.
But we did change the contract when it was made in 2010 to adhere to that.
We always said
Okay, and so then now we're asking, instead of sending 2 and 2 trucks, we're sending 4 and 2 trucks, is what we're asking. So how much is it for just the 2 extra people we're asking to send? Is that 180,000 for 2 more firemen?
360,000 to get the contract modified from 2 and 2 to 4 and 2.
So 2 more firemen cost 360,000.
The guarantee of having 4 rather than 2, yes, to answer your question, that is correct. Now, that sounds like a lot of money for 2 people, but understand, in the city's way of looking at it, and in my way of looking at it, we have for quite a while been getting far more than we've been paying for. And we've been informed that we're no longer going to be able to afford the luxury of sending you as much support as we have been. But we're willing to guarantee you 4, but this is how much we're going to have to adjust the contract for. And that's going to mean more manpower hired within the city to be able to give us this kind of guarantee. They're not leaving their numbers the same, and they're just going to start guaranteeing and then just say, well, let's just change that 2 to a 4.
I understand.
No, they're actually going to have to increase the manpower that they have available. And every time you add 1 person to a shift, that doesn't take care of the full 24 hours. You really need to add 3 firefighters to increase the shift capacity at any given time by 1 person.
So my point is, I see one of the difficulties is that we're in the middle of a year. It seems to me that to renegotiate when our budget's being made would make more sense to me than here in the middle of the year. That's where we're not at budget time, so we're going to have to do amendments to the budget for something that's not an emergency, which is what I thought budget amendments were for. So that's one of the issues I have, is that this contract ought to be negotiated at budget time instead of now in the middle of the year.
Well, that's a perfectly logical alternative, to wait until October to make this adjustment, whether it's 0 or 180 or 360. There really is a need to get some additional support hired right now before we go into the dry summer months. That's part of the thought process, because spreading it out between now and October for us really doesn't make much difference to us. Yes, we would have to have an adjustment that would be made in the way of an amendment to the budget in order to afford this in June. That is true.
But I think the one thing you got to look at, we're saying you got 3 shifts. That just covers 5 days. Then you got the weekend. Doesn't make any difference if it's 9 o'clock this morning or 4 o'clock this afternoon or 12 o'clock tonight. You got 4 people coming. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
If when we, back last year, when we went to the 3 men, or the half of the 3 men, there were certain shifts that you were short, they didn't have enough manpower to cover, right? Like,
We just had, like I said, we had 3 shifts, so we had 3 firefighters, I guess.
one to each shift? Yeah.
Dana, any other ideas for us to consider? No? You okay with leaving it the same, leaving the contract as it is?
No, we need to help. I just don't know the answer.
Okay. Well, that's what they put us here for, is to come up with answers. And as hard as it is, I'm not saying my solution is perfect, and I know you don't expect your solution to be perfect, but we just need some discussion points here. I gain something every time I hear one of you guys speak. It gives me more insight to help me make my decisions. So if you've got a way to efficiently provide the kind of support that you think this county needs, throw us out a proposal.
Let me ask you this. If we did the 3 in June, did the 3 in October, instead of a 2-year contract, would you make that a 3-year contract?
3.5 years. There's 3.5 years left.
Finish out what we got now. The 3.5 or 3 years, 4 months, I think it is.
That's what we're doing.
2 years.
No, I don't know where you got that.
Okay, well, that's my understanding.
No. The contract would go to $848,916 on October 1 of this year, and that figure would remain in place through November of 2020, roughly 3.5 years from now.
I misunderstood it.
And then at that time, it'll be time to sit down once again with the city and decide what we're going to do from November of 2020 forward.
Well, I still think we've got to have the 4 people there.
All right, I'm going to move on. We'll come back to this if you so choose. Otherwise, thank you guys for your effort. We'll continue to try to come up with something. Sure, Lanny, go ahead.
Dana, I don't know exactly what your thoughts are, but you need to come up with a proposal of what we need to do. We've been up here a number of times now. I understand Mr. Riddle's point. I don't want to pay any more taxes than I already am. But to sit here and vote no against it and have no opinion of what needs to be done, I think you need to check it and see what you need to be doing.
Item number 4, discuss the county park with possible action to follow. Just want to give you an update. Been in communication on a regular basis with Brad Watson with Luminant. They have been unable to come up with any interested party. However, in the last week, we do have some new interest that I think may be a possibility, but we are quickly approaching our June 1, which is the day that we said we would like to relinquish our responsibility out there at the county park. And in my discussions with Luminant, I told him that I would come back to the court and see if you all would be willing to add some additional time to that, whether it be a month or 60 days. Of course, right now, we're having James go out there and collect the money, and we're having Anthony go out. He's still managing the park. And he was the son of Sharon, Joe and Sharon. So would you all consider just continuing to do what we have been doing and providing enough support to keep that park open until more permanent plans can be made?
I should certainly don't, if we can get somebody to take the park over. I think it's an asset for the county. I know you can go down here by motels and stuff, and you see boats and big fishing tournaments coming in here and all that. I think it really helps the economy, but at some point in time, I think either somebody needs to take it over or we need to shut it down. Because it's not going to, the money-making days, you go through this month, and then around your, like 4th of July and places like, times like that, it'll make pretty good, because people will come in there and they bring their family and they fish and they're at the park and everything. So I have one more person I wanted to talk with that's fixing to retire, and he had mentioned something to me a week or two ago about he might be interested because he's fixing to retire. And he said him and his wife would just get an RV and stay down there, and he would run the park. And I said, I'll get all the facts and figures together for you, how much it makes. It's going to be your winter months that makes the money. The summer months, it's hot.
Well, as soon as you have somebody that's a viable option, if you'll share that information with me so that I can put them in touch with Luminate. They are looking every day. They're hoping somebody will show up. They're not going to be advertising it to the general public. This is going to be a word-of-mouth placement. And just make sure that they understand all the expectations that they would have out there, maintenance, et cetera.
They'd be responsible for everything. It'd be theirs. They would run it.
Yeah. All right. All right. Y'all willing to give them another 30 days, 60 days? What can I tell Luminate?
I think in 30 days we'll know one way or the other.
Okay. So for the time being, extend our obligation on the county park to July 1.
That's correct.
Okay. That's the motion.
Yes, sir.
I'll second it.
Second that. All right, got a motion by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 5 is consider and possibly approve receiving a donation from Walmart for the benefit of the sheriff's office. Anybody know any details about that? I thought the sheriff might be here. He wants to apply for a grant, and it's not a huge one. I want to say it's in the neighborhood of $2,500, or it may not necessarily be an exact amount, but it would involve a donation of approximately that size or less from Walmart, and the sheriff would just like permission to participate fully in hopes of taking advantage of that opportunity. And we need to approve these kind of things. Motion's made by Commissioner Parker to allow us to participate in that. Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item number 6, consider and possibly approve Woody Hughes as a reserve deputy constable for Precinct 1. Constable Durant is here. What can you tell us about this?
Well, you all are familiar with the reserve firm that Woody retired from the sheriff's office about 6 months ago. He's got over 20 years of experience, and he's expressed an interest to come out on a reserve basis and help my office with its warrant service and civil process and things like that. Our reserve officers very minimal cost to the county as far as financially, but they do a great job and well above what it costs the county. They bring in warrant fees and things like that. plus other things that we do. I'm just asking the court to use Woody as a reserve and pull from his 20 years of experience and knowledge in civil process and warrant service.
Okay. All right. Are y'all willing to add Woody Hughes as a reserve deputy constable for Precinct 1?
Go ahead.
Motion by Commissioner Riddle and second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Thank you, Chris. Okay, item number 7, I gave you all a brief memo about this. This is, I would ask you to consider and possibly select a commissioner to oversee construction matters, including repairs and maintenance. And we quickly got a call from the road department, and I made it clear to them, no, we're not talking about any kind of road repairs and maintenance, not that at all, just repair and maintenance issues that come up in any of our buildings, courthouse, annex, the Justice of the Peace office, the Riddle Street building, the elections administration. There's always something that needs some attention. I've got some pictures here to show you in the next agenda item, but there is always always something that needs to be done, and the process of getting that done is sometimes tedious and takes a while, and I would sure like some help doing that. And I don't know if this is something that's not necessarily, I don't think it should necessarily be a permanent position, but perhaps we could rotate this among the commissioners maybe every year, every 6 months, something like that. But this would be a person that would be the point man to receive information from whoever it might be, whether it was a department head or whether it's David, our custodian. And David is doing an excellent job, really has proven to be an asset in helping to identify issues that need to be dealt with, and most of these are small. Some can be large. This next one I'm going to show you here is potentially a large issue, but would any of you all be willing to do this, and if so, for how long? What would be a good way to help distribute this load that would involve identifying problems, identifying who is the appropriate person to make the repair, employing contractors or repair companies to fix the matter, and then following back up and seeing the process through from start to finish and keeping the court informed?
We would still make the decisions back in the Commissioners Court. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is an administrative responsibility that it'll help to have one person that's in charge of that, and they would be responsible for keeping the court informed. The court would still be the one to approve repairs, to approve suppliers of the repairs, and to approve how we're going to deal with it. This would also have to do with construction matters, but you know that there's very many steps in this process. We don't just identify a problem and then pick up the phone and call somebody to fix it, unless they're small, of course, but the ones that we've typically dealt with, some have been large enough to require us to approve, going out for bids, or at least approving a proposal from a contractor to make the repair.
Well, I would volunteer for that to begin with, and then rotate it. Maybe.
I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Would you be willing to do that for, say, a 6-month period?
Yeah, or year.
Year?
Yeah,
okay.
just anytime. Just
Thank you very much. That will really help me, and you and I, between you and I and David, that'll really be a good deal, I believe.
Now, I do want y'all to understand, I've been working with Richard Jones on inside the courthouse, the walls not being painted and stuff like this, and he's trying to help put some stuff together there. Also, at the county extension office, the roof, all that's metal. That needs to, I don't know what you call it, it's a synthetic washer that goes under the screw, and there's been a couple of little leaks out there. To me, what would need to happen was, and after talking with some different people, that little washer and stuff, all that needs to be redone. with that synthetic washer, I would guess you would call it. Just roughly a price in doing that would be around $2,500, and I'll take you out there, Al, and show you. We'll get up on it and stuff, but it's not leaking bad, but as time goes on, you go 3, 4, 5 more years, it's going to start leaking more and more by just a simple synthetic washer that goes under that screw. That was built back in the early 90s, so you're looking at over 20 years. And
What
we've had
building
very
is,
little-
what building is this?
That's our county extension office.
Okay.
And I'm sure the central barn was done the same way. I have not talked to Terry to see if there's any leakage or we've got a leak out there or something. But there was just, it wasn't anything bad, but it's not going to get better as time goes along. So I think that needs to be checked and see what we can do to help solve that problem that's going to be in the future. And then I'll get with Richard and tell him to come to you, and you can go over all that with him. But he does have things put together. About a month ago, he went to the whole courthouse, and I think, and I'll get with you if you want me to, and I'll show you what I've done, and then it's yours. Okay?
All right, well, I appreciate that step up by Commissioner Riddle. If y'all will approve this, and this doesn't come with any additional perks on the job, it's just taking on some additional responsibility, but I think it will prove to be very good to have a single point man that can help us in matters like this. So if y'all will approve Commissioner Riddle for a year, say from May, currently through May 1 of 2018, to be our, we'll call it Construction Matters Commissioner.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion is made by Commissioner Parker, second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 8 is, I want to show you some pictures. This is something that David Holmes, our custodian, identified while he was up on the roof of the annex, trying to find reasons for roof leaks. And again, David has been willing to crawl under, over, crawl up on top of. He has really done us a good job at identifying problems and potential problems. And this, I want to show you these pictures. Some of these pictures are just simply pictures of junk that he found up on top of our building, and he has disposed of it, but the contractors have left junk here over the years, and it's just accumulated, and he's done a good job of getting that cleared out. This very first picture, you'll see plaster that has cracked off in sheets. That is on the west wall of the annex building facing the bell tower. And it's bound to be a source of water leak if that water gets in between. Mainly right now, just focus on that very top page, if you would. That's just pictures of junk on the roof. But that's where the plaster is peeling off of the side wall, and you can see the exposed brick below that. Well, if water continues to rain in and go in between that plaster and the brick wall long term, and we may already be dealing with long term, it's going to cause some deterioration issues in the brick of that west wall of the annex building.
That needs to be fixed.
So I don't know if that needs to be, I don't know if that plaster needs to be chipped off and started over, or if we just need to plug that crack so that it doesn't allow water in there. I guess that would be what a contractor might suggest to us, and I don't know what even the appropriate kind of contractor might be that could look at that, but that'd be something we could either plug it and seal it or look at a bigger job of replastering that exterior wall.
My recommendation is to get Richard to go look at it, because the rain needs to be stopped immediately.
Okay. Motion is made by Commissioner Fields. How about we make a motion that you give Commissioner Riddle some flexibility on how he addresses that. And that's a good suggestion, to call Richard Jones and have him take a look at it. If Commissioner Riddle has a better idea on somebody that might be the right person, then give him the flexibility to address that and look for a knowledgeable person. So that's is that okay? If I modify, is that okay if I modify your motion to give him that flexibility? Motion's made by Commissioner Fields to turn this matter of the plaster on the annex wall over to Commissioner Riddle to pursue getting a maintenance repair person to look at that and suggesting back what would be different alternatives.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
These next couple of items are some cleanup and the finalization of a couple of projects. Number 9, and you all have already signed off on these, but I wanted to get them run through Commissioners Court just so we make that public. Number 8 is number 9 is consider and possibly approve final change order on the adult probation door, the door that we cut in between adult probation and Judy Cook's office. There were 2 change orders that modified the original contract there. One was $375 where we had to repair the floor after a wall was removed. And once that wall was removed, there was the tile job, the tile floor there did not go underneath that wall. The tile was placed around that wall. So when the wall was removed, there was a missing tile about 1 foot wide and about 10 feet long, and that had to be repaired with some additional matching tile. And the contractor, a floor guy, did a good job on that, $375. And then we bought a push-button lock that is now on the door that goes from the hallway of the annex into Judy Cook's old office, just to make it easier for the adult probation officers going back and forth from one area to another rather than having to have a key each time. We've got a lock on that door, a push-button lock, and that combination can be changed at any time. That was $200, so there is $575 worth of change orders to finalize and close out that project. If I could get approval on those. Motions by Commissioner Fields. Second by Commissioner Riddle. The item number 10 is to approve, what? Oh, I didn't vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Trying to jump the gun there. Item number 10, consider and possibly approve payment for the construction of a door in the district judge's office. I think I gave you all a picture. Did I give you all a picture of that? Richard Jones did a great job. Here's a picture that I took on both sides of this door that was not there before. You had this shelving here in the judge's current library. You had rows of shelves, and books here, so it was just a solid wall of books. He removed the shelving there and the books and put that door right in between these existing shelf supports. So there's one side of the door, there's the other side. This is now Judge Ralston's office where he'll bring his own desk. We've got internet service in there and a telephone in there for him so that each of the judges has a workable office. So very nice work that Richard did. $2,300 was that proposal, which was approved, and let's go ahead and approve payment to Richard now that that job has been completed and I have inspected it.
Do we need to make a motion?
Yeah, they're looking at the picture, yeah. If you want to make a motion, all we're doing is approving final payment on that job.
I'll make a motion.
Motion's made by Commissioner Applewhite, second by Commissioner Riddle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 11, it's time to award a bank depository contract. So we've got bids here to look at and award the depository contract. You've got one. You got one bid from Guarantee Bank. And I know you sent out more requests for this, and this was the only one interested. Let me read this to you. Regarding, this is from Martin Bell, Executive Vice President. Guaranty Bank and Trust opened its doors in 1913. Through the years, we've experienced tremendous growth. Currently, Guaranty Bank and Trust is the depository for more than 90 public entities. We have an extensive history of helping numerous independent school districts, cities, and counties maximize their financial needs through a variety of products and services. In an effort to make things simple and convenient for you, our staff is available to come to your business and assist you in implementing any of the following products and services: direct deposit, checking for your business, online banking, commercial cash management, positive pay services, and remote deposit capture. Enclosed, you'll find our bid package, including all support documents. Please note this proposal is valid for 180 days from the submission date. If the proposal is accepted, the rates, terms, and conditions provided herein shall be valid for 2 years. We appreciate this opportunity. We're committed to providing an experience that inspires loyalty and trust. I mean, are there any dollar figures here that, I mean, they're...
Judge, I would like to,
Has Carl looked at this, do you know?
No.
So since Carl's not here to make the recommendation, of course, you only have one, but nonetheless, I do think Carl should have a chance to take a look at this. A lot of this is going to be irrelevant to us, you know, T-bill rates and such, but all of their maintenance fees and wire transfer, there's most everything in here is a free service. They're just functioning as a depository for us. We get one free wire transfer per month. You get stop payments, and inter-account transfers are all free. If we have an extra statement, it's $5.
Judge, that's good for 60 days, and I would like for Christian Clark to look at it. I think it's fine, but I want to make sure.
Well, this is the only, okay, well, I'm fine with that. Let's see, any bidder desiring, this is from Carl Johnson, any bidder desiring to be selected as such depository shall deliver to the county auditor an application to act as depository on bid forms available at the office of the county auditor. The bid shall be accompanied by a certified check of not less than 0.5% of the total revenue of Titus County for the fiscal year ended, which was $22,947,000. So they're looking for a check of $112,489, and I believe I've got that check. $112,489 in the form of a cashier's check. Bid applications shall be delivered to the county auditor at the Titus County Courthouse on or before 4 p.m. May 1. All right, so they have complied. Motion is made by, let's turn this over to Carl for his recommendation, and we'll vote on it at the next meeting.
Motion.
Yep, I'm assuming that's your motion. Motion's made by Commissioner Fields.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Riddle. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, and that is unanimous. All right, I'm going to put this back in the folder along with the check. And Carolyn will put that on the next agenda for approval. Please. Item 12 is consider and possibly approve bonds for Christy Davis, Sharon Reynolds, Shelby Lovelady, our 3 county auditors' employees, and they have bonds like the rest of us. We need to approve their bonds.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's made by Commissioner Riddle and seconded by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're going to consider travel and seminars, and I only have one. This is Deborah Abston requesting to attend the 122nd Annual County and District Clerks Association Conference in South Padre Island in late June. She will leave on Sunday. The school is Monday through Friday. $200 registration, $220 in per diem meals, $649 in hotel, and about $738 worth of travel all the way down to the tip of Texas. About $1,808.47 is the request. That is the only one I have.
Make a motion, we approve travel.
Motion is made by Commissioner Parker to approve that single request. Second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item number 14, approve oral and written reports.
Thank you, ma'am.
We had to write a check for voting equipment already.
Make a motion, we approve oral and written reports.
Motion is made by Commissioner Parker for approval.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor of these reports, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item 15 is our treasurer's report.
Thank you.
Make that motion.
Motion is made for approval by
Commissioner Fields. Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Item 16, any budget amendments today? Christie, no budget amendments. Item 17, sign pay orders and approve payments.
Make a motion to pay the bill.
Motion is made by Commissioner Parker. Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor of paying those bills, say aye. Aye. Okay, we'll jump back up one more time, see if anybody's got another idea on our fire contract. I just don't want to be one that said that we didn't try. If there's anybody that wants to make a motion in an attempt to get it passed or table this item, but right now we had a nay vote on that. And I don't know what else to do until I'm given some other option on a future agenda item. So as it stands right now, we are leaving the contract as it stands unless we can get something done. So anybody else want to make a motion?
I'll make that motion again, that we give them $180,000 now and add it to the contract.
Okay, motion's made, and what would you like me to ask from the city? Just keep their proposal the same in all respects and offer $180,000 only one time rather than 180, 1 plus 180?
Yes.
Okay, that's the motion by Commissioner Riddle. Anybody want to second that? Well, I'll second it just to call a vote. Second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
No. That's a no? Okay. So we've got 3-1 on that. All right, thank you, Commissioner Riddle, for making a stab. Anybody else want to make a stab?
On this, you got it from June 1 of 2017 in October, right 3 months later, or 4, whatever it is. You couldn't, what about, you could do that June 1 of 2017 and again in June 2018 instead of just going drastically towards that?
It'll still fall in the same budget year. Do you feel like there's a distinct advantage one way or another? Just asking, not disagreeing.
Well, like I said, 180,000 just went, just at one time, then you turn around and give them another 180,000. Is that just, it's going to be over, is that just, not a one-time deal, but it's a monthly payment?
Well, what they'll do is, the contract right now is and will continue to be in 12-month increments. So, no, you're not going to write them a check for $180,000 on June 1 and another check. What you'll have is that annual total divided by 12. So right now we're running at about $490,000 divided by 12, which is, I can't even do the math here, $40,000 a month, something like that. 40,000 a month times 12 months would be 480,000. So right now we're paying them about $40,000 per month. That means in June that monthly amount would go up slightly, or it would go up about $180,000. It'd go up about $15,000. So June 1, sometime in the month of June, we'd pay them about $55,000. And then in October, that monthly amount would go up to about $70,000.
Make a motion to pay the $180,000 start June, the monthly period to the end of this fiscal year, and then next June increase it to another $180,000. That will get you full firefighters within the year.
Okay, so so the only change we're making is what I'm hearing is instead of June 1 and October 1, we're making it June 1 and June 1 of 2017 and 2018.
That's correct.
Okay. And so that means your monthly payment would go to about $55,000 in June of this year and would remain at that rate until 2018, at which time it would go up by another $15,000 per month. So that's the motion.
Yes, sir.
I second it.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. I will get with the city and see if they could live with that and let you know. Guys, you're right. It's a difficult decision, and there's no easy. Not everybody's going to be happy with your decision, no matter what decision it is. But I appreciate you at least coming to a pretty good consensus here, and hopefully the city can live with this. Item number 18 is our closing comments. Our elevator work we're not ready to send people up and down today, but the work was completed on Friday. What has to happen now is a gentleman whose expertise is the adjustment of that elevator to fine-tune the stopping points and the functionality, and then a inspector will inspect it and we'll be ready to roll. I'm told that will occur this week, but not everything I've said has worked out, I'm quick to admit. But I'll keep you informed, and we will have that thing open and working as quickly as we can. I will be out at the next Commissioners Court meeting in 2 weeks. I will keep that agenda to a minimum. I'll be on vacation. Commissioner Fields, would you stand in my place as the ranking member here? And as a reminder, what we will have on that agenda, assuming he is still ready, will be Roger Ledbetter bringing you all a report and maybe giving you some things to think about as far as helping him with some equipment considerations. What did I just send to you this morning to have on that agenda? It wasn't a high priority item, but I will try to keep that agenda as small as I possibly can. I'm meeting tomorrow with Suddenlink at the Sheriff's Office to see about converting the Sheriff's Office over to Suddenlink internet-based telephone service, primarily to save on long-distance bill, which runs anywhere from $1,200 to $2,500 over there, and we can get that down to hopefully around $700 a month. So we'll find out more details tomorrow and see if we can't go ahead and convert the Sheriff's Office over like the rest of the county that's on Suddenlink. Let's see, I'll be heading to probate school tomorrow afternoon, and I'll be out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in Lubbock for judge probate school. That's what I've got on the next agenda, is for you to be thinking about, and this will give you a couple of week opportunity to take a look at this. We completed the work at the back of the Riddle Street building. We did the commissioners, you guys did a good job of clearing that, cutting trees, removing brush and debris. Keith Kreidler completed the work of stuffing the entry holes so that the rodents could not get in the back of that building anymore. And now what we need to do to wrap this up is to provide some kind of rain protection on the back side of that building that was formerly provided by a rain gutter. We've removed the rain gutter to alleviate the rat problem, but now as the rain falls down the back of that building, we either need to run a concrete apron down the back to catch the drip, or a layer of rock back there, which would probably be the cheaper way to do it. Commissioner Riddle, I'll ask maybe that you lead that discussion and maybe take a look at the back there. if we have heavy rains, that water dripping in that dirt will erode that dirt there and make that not a good situation. So I'll have that on the agenda for you all to consider some possible alternatives to fixing that. That is all I've got. Senator Riddle, any closing comments?
None.
Oh, Cheryl, No? Okay, Commissioner Fields?
Yes, sir, I do. We have one of the few counties, I don't know of any others in northeast Texas, that if you turn 65, you can apply your taxes, your county taxes will be frozen. You look all the counties around in northeast Texas, they had to go up, so instead of raising the overall rate, they did away with the tax exemption. So that's frozen. And I want people to remember that as senior citizens, if you're under 65, then yeah, you're going to have to pay a little more in taxes. But if you're 65 or older and you've applied, your taxes are frozen. Unless you buy a new house or something like that. But a lot of counties did away with that. And I think anybody that's on set income, then that has to be looked at. It's like I talked to quite a few people on that deal, and they don't have any problem with the senior citizens being able to freeze their taxes, county taxes. Now, that doesn't apply to anything else. I think we're the only one that's doing that now. Other counties have done away with it. Franklin County used to have it, and they did away with it. They didn't go up on their tax rate, but they brought in more money because you got people paying in more money. But anyway, I just wanted to emphasize that, and that's all I have.
On that same line, we did get appraised values for the total county. And the total county appraised valuation, after all of the exemptions and freezes, the net was about 2.6% increase in total property value within the county. So that's the first time in a few years we've seen a slight increase. So hopefully that means things are improving economically. Closing comments? Either one. All right. Thank you for bearing with us today, and we'll bring this meeting to a close with a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Applewhite, second by
Second.
Commissioner Parker. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, pictures.